can count on us. This is 7 News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for 7 News tonight at 10. I'm Haley Wilson. Tonight was a special night at the Lawton Rangers Rodeo as it started with a swearing-in ceremony. 11 people raised their right hand and joined the military during the ceremony. It was also Military Appreciation Night, so everyone was encouraged to wear red, white, and blue. If you missed the rodeo, it's happening again tomorrow. It starts at 7:30 in the evening at the Elo Ranch Arena, which is just off Southeast 60th Street. Coming up in sports, Tyler Fountain is going to give us highlights from tonight's event.
And we're seeing partly cloudy skies out there. Cloud cover is going to continue to increase very slowly after midnight tonight. You do notice a little bit of shower, light sprinkle activity up toward north central and northwest Oklahoma here. And you also notice some heavier activity off in the panhandle. Some of this heavier activity looks to get into our viewing areas as we head into the early morning hours for your Saturday. As of right now, though, you notice partly cloudy skies, dry conditions throughout the Lawton area. Take a look at the Cameron University Tower Cam. So for the rest of the overnight hours, a 10% chance of activity for most of us through about 2, 3 a.m. Then we increase that to a 20% by 5 a.m. then a 30% by 7 a.m. You do notice those temperatures are in the upper 70s, are going to be here in the next hour. Low 70s or so as we push through much of the overnight hours, maybe even bottoming out a tick below 70 there at 7 a.m. We'll have a little bit more coming up.
Over the past week, people in the Snyder community have been claiming there are cars being broken into. 7 News' investigative reporter Seth Marsicano spoke with one of those residents who says they've had trouble getting in touch with police to make a report. Seth?
Haley, Cheryl Rhodes has lived in the area for over 20 years and says she's never seen a situation at this scale. Rhodes says both of the cars in her driveway were broken into last Friday night, and it's not just her. She says people all over town are also sharing stories of their cars being burglarized. Rhodes says there shouldn't be issues like this in a tight-knit community such as Snyder. She says with the number of stories she's hearing and lack of police communication, she's not confident in their protection.
I feel like I've been ghosted. You know, Chief of Police lives right behind me. He could have come over here at any time. He did one time say, if you have a problem, contact me. We'll get together with it. I contacted him. He hasn't got back with me. This is our property. We have the right to defend our property. Locked or unlocked, these are our vehicles. Nobody has the right to come in and do that.
Says people are filing reports with the county sheriff instead of their local police because they're not hearing back from the department. We've also tried reaching out to Snyder Police, but like Rhodes, we have not gotten a call back. You can count on your 7 News team to keep track of this situation and bring any updates. For 7 News, I'm Seth Marsicano.
Thanks, Seth. Officials with the Lawton Police Department have identified the victim in Wednesday's shooting on Northwest Ash Avenue as 19-year-old Emmanuel Meeks. According to a press release from LPD, the teen was taken to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead. The department is asking the community for information that could help solve the case. Officials have not mentioned any suspects or arrests at this time. Anyone with information is asked to call the number on your screen, 355-INFO. Tonight, 2 people are facing time behind bars in Cotton County for allegedly planning to meet for a drug deal. Caitlin Ray Pearson and Delmer Brown are both charged with using an electronic device to facilitate a felony. According to court documents, officers got a search warrant on May 6th for Brown's cell phone. Through the documents, they didn't tell us what led to the warrant. The phone was taken to Duncan Police, where officers reportedly found messages between Brown and Pearson from May to first meet up for Pearson to buy meth. Pearson and Brown both face up to 5 years in prison and at least $5,000 in fines if convicted. And for those needing assistance from FEMA, the deadline to apply for assistance is coming up fast. People living in Caddo, Jackson, and several other counties have until the 14th of this month to apply. The assistance is available for disaster survivors impacted by tornadoes which hit Oklahoma between April 25th and May 9th and May 19th to the 28th. It's available to eligible U.S. citizens, non-citizen nationals, and qualified non-citizens. To learn whether or not you qualify or to start the application process, visit FEMA.gov. Happening tomorrow, the Lawton Police Department is working with a local homeland for their annual Bagging with Badges event. From 9 in the morning tomorrow until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, officers with LPD will work with athletes to bag groceries to raise money for the upcoming Special Olympics. LPD's Public Information Officer Charles Whittington says the event also serves as a way to build connections between officers and the communities that they serve.
They come out, go grocery shopping, meet some police officers. This is just a great way for officers to be able to give back to communities and organizations, and for people just to come out and realize that there are individuals and people behind the badge and not just a police officer.
Whittington also says this is just one of many events the police department participates in to raise money for Special Olympic athletes. If you would like to donate, you can visit the Homeland location on 6734 Northwest Cash Road. And we have a cancellation to tell you about this afternoon. We received word from Minister Ricky Hall of the Greater Galilee Baptist Church that the Soldiers Winning Souls for Christ cookout and clothes giveaway scheduled for tomorrow has been canceled due to unforeseen circumstances. In Tulsa, police are investigating a burglary after the ashes of a woman's sister were stolen. Anna Daniel says her late sister meant everything in the world to her. She took her urn to a local customs crafts to get her name engraved on it. However, on Wednesday, Anna received some heartbreaking news. The shop was robbed and her sister's urn was stolen.
When he said it was stolen, I burst into tears and I dropped my phone. I've been crying for 2 days.
Harrison Duff, the owner of Custom Crafts, said that the thief entered the store middle of the night between 2 and 3:30 in the morning. Tulsa police are now looking into this.
And we're going to see a couple more rounds of rainfall. The first one comes in early tomorrow morning, especially for the northern areas. Milder temperatures for another day on your Saturday thanks to extra cloud coverage and rainfall throughout the area. High pressure, though, not going to stay away for too long. We'll have this and more straight ahead.
Mornings can get a little hectic, but at 7 News, we're up to get you going.
Polls will be open all.
Now the Northeast is the next target for the storm. While many in the South are recovering after Debbie, the Northeast is bracing for floods and torrential rain. Almost no states in the region were spared. Some streets in Maryland practically underwater, and rivers in the area have swelled. Over in Virginia, residents had a flooding emergency, and parts of eastern North Carolina have seen destructive tornadoes. Thankfully, Debbie's remnants should be gone by tomorrow morning.
Here's your first alert forecast with meteorologist Barrett Phillips.
Barrett, what we're seeing is nothing like Debbie, but we are hopefully seeing some rain in the area, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. We are going to see a round of rain come through as we head on to tomorrow morning, most likely. And that's actually off in the panhandles of right now. Speaking of right now, we do have a little bit of sprinkle activity here toward parts of Weatherford, the Anadarko area. You'll notice this activity continues to move to the east-southeast. Nothing heavy, just very light activity as you see there. So temperature-wise, we're in the 70s for the most part. 79 at the airport, 82 in the Falls, 80 in Frederick, 74 in Chickasha, even a cool spot still Elk City at 67. We have 82 in Graham, the same in Vernon. So temperatures progressively warmer the further south you go. And the reason why is because we have upper level high pressure that's centered to the south of us. We're on the north side of it, which means that we're on the storm track side. Now, even though we're on the north side of this, the actual kind of heavier storm track will be in northern Oklahoma. They'll see the most rainfall over the weekend, but some of that will get into southwest Oklahoma. So here's a batch of rainfall over here, and storm activity throughout the Panhandle region. This right here is going to continue to track to the east-southeast, and this activity does seem like it's going to get a little bit further south than the activity we saw this morning. So maybe Lawton, places down toward the Red River, actually get a little bit something tomorrow morning. So here's a look at it coming through as we head on into tonight. You notice this activity comes on through from the northwest to the southeast. We're not expecting anything severe, just garden variety showers and storms. You notice that pushes on through. So like I said, places from the Red River north look to get beneficial rainfall for tonight. That's the first round of 2, and then the second round comes through for your Saturday night into your early Sunday time frame. Maybe some leftover isolated activity there for your Sunday as well. So as far as your rainfall amounts are concerned, you notice that pretty much from the Red River to Lawton, that's where you can expect about a 1/10 to a ½ inch of rainfall for most of us. Once you go north of there toward Elk City, I-40, that's where you can see about a 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch of widespread rainfall. South of the Red River, south of the Falls area, we're talking up to about a 1/4 inch of rainfall for most areas there. And 2 inches locally could be the case. The most likely areas for that to occur, though, would be up to the north toward I-40. That just means that somebody might see up to 2 inches. I think that would be the ceiling, but even in these areas, a 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch would be what the majority of the people in the northern areas would see. So as we head into tomorrow morning, you notice we're starting off near 70, mostly cloudy skies, 30% chance of activity as well, 20% chance in the afternoon hours, and you notice we're in the low 80s there by 11 a.m. So your Lawton Rangers rodeo forecast for tomorrow evening, this isn't this evening, it's already over this evening, this is tomorrow evening, calls for temperatures in the upper 80s near 90 by 7 p.m. Partly to mostly cloudy skies all the way through. You notice mid 80s there by 9 o'clock, low 80s to end things out. Only a 20% chance of activity. Like I said, the third round probably won't come in till late Saturday night into your early Sunday morning time frame. Sunday during the day, though, we're only talking a 10% chance of activity, mostly sunny skies as we roll through your Monday and your Tuesday as well as your Wednesday. And you notice that we're going to hold on to a 10% chance of activity there for your Thursday and Friday. Triple-digit heat back into the forecast there for your Sunday. Upper level high pressure takes back over, lows in the 70s.
3 families of students killed during the 2018 Parkland shooting have reached a massive settlement with Parkland shooter Nicholas Cruz. More details on the settlement coming up after the break.
Chris Solid here with Solid Plumbing. I first want to thank you for trusting us for the last 20 years.
After he allegedly poisoned his wife with eye drops before attempting to cash in on her life insurance. Now prosecutors say he tried to poison his young daughter as well. ABC's Andrea Fujii has more. It looks like we are having a bit of technical difficulties there, but we will go on to the next story and hopefully be able to bring you that one a little bit later if possible. Families of the 3 students killed in the 2018 Parkland shooting have reached massive settlements with the convicted shooter. Nicholas Cruz has agreed to pay each family $50 million and a former student who was injured $40 million. It's unlikely that any of them will see a significant amount of that money. However, the family's attorney says that if Cruz ever comes into any money like that, they'll be able to collect it and prevent him from having it. And the Justice Department has charged executives with a voting technology company. The DOJ says 3 current and former Smartmatic executives, including the president, are facing charges. Prosecutors say those executives allegedly paid the former top election official in the Philippines to use Smartmatic voting machines and election services for the 2016 Philippine elections. Smartmatic representatives say 2 of the current execs have been placed on lead, adding no voter fraud was alleged and Smartmatic is not indicted. With school comes kids wearing backpacks once again. Coming up tonight on MedWatch, we're going to talk about how to wear a backpack properly to prevent injuries. Stay with us.
If you'd like to speak to a representative, say representative.
Memorial Hospital.
These days, students may not have to tote around textbooks, but all the other supplies they have to bring to school can make their book bags heavy. While doctors say long-term damage isn't likely, too much weight can cause pain and strains. From binders to notebooks, paper and pencils, all the stuff students squish into their bags can make the school day feel a little heavy.
A backpack that doesn't fit correctly or that weighs too much, though, can cause muscle strains, back pain, and even numbness and tingling.
Dr. Saji Azurf with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says one of the easiest ways to measure if a backpack fits properly is to measure from the bump at the bottom of the neck to the top of the hip.
That's how long you want the backpack.
To help protect against injuries, Azurf says the backpack should have 2 broad padded straps, as well as multiple compartments. Having a chest strap or waist strap is also a good idea. He says all of these things will help distribute the weight evenly. Next, pack the heaviest items closest to the child's back. And make sure it doesn't weigh more than about 10 to 15% of their body weight.
If your child is like walking with their bag and they're leaning forward, the backpack is probably a little too heavy. So sometimes even splitting some of that stuff to like another, like a handbag or a little disposable grocery bag.
A properly worn backpack can also help prevent injury. Azurf says to make sure it sits about 1 or 2 inches below the shoulders and doesn't go more than 4 inches past the belly button.
You want the backpack to kind of sit in the middle of the back, essentially. So you might have to adjust the straps and make it snug.
He says to encourage children to pack only the things they need for that day to cut down on unnecessary weight. And he says if a child is complaining of back pain, not to brush it off, since there could be other causes of the pain. He says it's best to talk with a doctor. In other health news, Comanche County Memorial Hospital is holding a career fair on Thursday, August 15th at the Lawton Farmers Market. It starts at 8 in the morning and goes until 11, and then resumes from 5 in the evening until 8. If you have any questions, you can call 580-510-7068. For MedWatch 7, I'm Haley Wilson. The FDA has approved a new nasal spray as an EpiPen alternative. It's called Neffy from ARS Pharmaceuticals and can be used with a single dose to the nose. FDA officials say this is a safe, needle-free alternative and can be used on anyone over 66 pounds. Meanwhile, the FDA said no MDMA as a treatment for PTSD. This was the first time the Food and Drug Administration has considered a psychedelic drug for medical use. Data for 2 late-stage trials involving around 200 people were cited, saying they showed positive results. Talk therapy was also used in the trials. However, an independent FDA committee voted against the treatment over concerns about the trials. Now to that story where we had some technical difficulties, where a man allegedly poisoned his wife with eye drops before attempting to cash in on her life insurance. ABC's Andrea Fujii should have that story for us now.
This morning, the North Carolina man charged with murder for allegedly poisoning his wife with eye drops is due back in court. 39-year-old Joshua Hunsucker, a former paramedic, faces new charges, accused of also trying to poison his 10-year-old daughter. She survived. Prosecutors claim his plot was inspired by South Carolina nurse Lana Clayton.
I did impulsively put the Visine in Stephen's drink, and I did it with the intent to make him sick and uncomfortable.
Back in 2018, Clayton was charged with poisoning her husband with eye drops. She pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Just a month after Clayton was charged, Stacy Hunsucker died. Investigators say they grew suspicious when Joshua Hunsucker immediately cremated his wife's body and filed for her $250,000 life insurance policy. When they tested her blood, they say poison was found. But since his arrest, Hunsucker has been free on bond, and he's accused of intimidating his late wife's parents in an effort to blame them for her death. Prosecutors claim he also staged his own kidnapping and routinely recorded his in-laws, followed them, made vulgar gestures, and sent a package to their home demanding they drop charges against him. Today, prosecutors are asking to revoke Hunsucker's bond as he awaits trial. He's also been indicted for witness intimidation and obstruction of justice. He maintains his innocence. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
The Lawton Rangers Rodeo is almost to an end, but if you didn't have a chance to get out there tonight, I'll have some of those highlights coming your way, as well as softball, so stay tuned for sports after the break to catch some action.
The experts at Pippin Brothers have been solving plumbing problems in Southwest Oklahoma for over 40 years.
James Wicks.
It was day 3 of the rodeo, and there was a packed house, a lot of action throughout the 13 main events. like bareback riding, steer wrestling, breakaway roping, and more. And we pick things up with steer wrestling. Tyler Shevel wrestles it down to the ground with an unofficial time of 4.3, and it will be Cooper Orr right out of the gate. Wrestles this bull down in 4.2 seconds, but that will be unofficial. But it wasn't just action all night. The Lawton Rangers Rodeo also had some beautiful black stallions to circle around. But now we're back to it. Lucas Lynn, bareback riding, holding going for dear life. Look at that cowboy riding that horse. Lynn still holding going for his high score, looking to be #1. And he had a high score of 83. And he was so turned, he even hit a break dance move. And now we take it to the breakaway where Sequin Brewer is let out the stables and hooks him, but she will be penalized, and it will be Cheyenne McCarthy who would get her shot at it, but she's labeled with a no time as she can't rope it. But Riley Smith, the reigning winner in breakaway, would lead tonight with 2.2. And now on to softball. Duncan held their softball festival today, and teams like Chickasha, Geronimo, Cash, and Marlowe all participated. Geronimo versus Chickasha in the Duncan Softball Festival, Fighting Chicks on the mound. Throwing heat, Blue Jays hit a line drive straight to center field, and she's out. Blue Jays looking to build momentum down 2, but it's looking like no luck. Strike 1, Blue Jays swing again. This one hit high into the sky, going towards center field, and there's Angels in the outfield. She will be out, and it's a quick 3 up, 3 down. Blue Jays now on the mound. Fighting Chicks looking to keep that lead, and it will be an easy first out to get the Blue Jays going, but that out would not be enough as the Chickasha Fighting Chicks were going to win 3-1. And now we take it to the Olympics in Paris, but we're still here in Lawton. United States is currently tied with China in gold medal count with 33, but the USA leads in total medal count with 111. China is right behind with 83, and from there it is a steep drop off. Great Britain has 57 and France has 56. The big question is what matters most, medal count or gold medals, and the U.S. looks to be doing good in both departments. The basketball team will soon be taking on France in that gold medal round for men's and women's. For 7 Sports, I'm Tyler Fountain.
Breaking and local news. Get it on the 70.
Chances tomorrow night at a 40%, 30% tomorrow. Upper level high pressure takes back over next week.
All right, thanks, Barrett. And thank you for joining us for 7 News tonight at 10. Be safe if you're driving home from the rodeo tonight or plan on going tomorrow, and anticipate there to be a long line, whether you're coming in or going, because I think we all saw that today.
Yeah, we all did, yes.
And make sure you also take your heat precautions, whether you're going to the Watermelon Festival, the Pickle Festival, or the rodeo. Thanks for joining us for 7 News tonight at 10.
Jimmy Kimmel Live is next.
Morning Texoma starts at 5.